everybody. We have a really special episode this week of Safe-Tay Talks. We are actually here live at Geotab Connect, which is awesome. One of our first live recordings, actually. So big things happening for Safe-Tay Talks, but I'm so excited. Desiree, thank you so much for joining. Desiree is here from Geotab representing Strong. But yeah, I'll let you kick it off. Would love to hear a little bit, about your background and, what your looks like here today at Geotab.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. This is exciting. Let's see. I got my start in transportation a little over 10 years ago. I was working for a company called Instructional Technologies ProTread. It was an amazing little company. We created safety training for all types of fleets in the
Mhm.
transportation space. And then over the years, I really just developed a passion for working with fleets to really dive into their business and find pain points that I could help them
Mhm.
solve. So now years later, I'm at Geotab, which I love, and I get to do that every day. I'm really working as a consultant with fleets to figure out how we can use data to uncover different opportunities within their fleet and then also offer solutions and how we can help them solve that, whether it's electrification, if they've got sustainability on their
Mhm.
project list as something they're really focused on, we have data for that. If they're looking to reduce their risk or even just identify risk, we've got data for that too. So it's great. I love working with with fleets in this space.
Yeah, well, I think too, and I definitely stalked you a little bit, and
Uh,
so I saw you had some like safety and training background, which I was really excited about. But I feel like that has to be like such a great background track for you to not come into this as just hey a sales or a telematics person,
yeah,
but to actually kind of understand the real side of the safety of it, and also be able to build that into the telematics. I feel like that had to kind of gives, I'm sure, the folks that you work with a different viewpoint.
absolutely. Yeah, it was so great because before I started at ITI, I was in finance, which there's not a whole lot of crossover
Yeah.
between finance and trucking. But yeah, with the various companies I've been with, it's a really strong safety background that led me actually to the MPTC, where I got my CTP designation, which is shout out to them. It's
Yeah.
fantastic program where, especially as a vendor, you can really learn all the ins and outs of the business, all of the different value streams within a transportation and logistics company,
Mhm.
that I feel like has all really led me to here being at Geotab.
Yeah, it's almost like you have, like, the perfect
Yeah,
course to get you here.
totally.
Well, I mean, we all know, obviously, and I think even in your past roles and even now today that, fleet tech, especially how quickly it's evolving,
Yeah,
can be very overwhelming.
absolutely.
How are you guys helping folks, really actually take that data telematics and then actually seeing those real world fleet operational changes?
So, I mean, data fatigue is definitely a real thing.
Mhm.
Over the last 10, 15 years, tech has evolved so quickly and provides a lot of great data, but it provides a lot of data for companies. And we've really worked to move quickly to help make that data digestible for a lot of
Mhm.
fleets where they're not having to dig through a bazillion data points to figure out what really matters. When I work with a fleet manager, the first thing I tell them is we are not trying to boil the ocean. When especially
Love that.
companies who are moving from, dots on a map telematics, moving into something that's way more proactive, it can be really overwhelming. And so not trying to boil the ocean, let's look for the low hanging fruit. And typically what that looks like is you're going to have a lot of safety data coming in and you're going to be able
Mhm.
to identify little pockets of opportunity within the organization. Typically that's going to be things like idling. Idling is a huge
Mhm.
issue and it has a huge ripple effect on things like fuel efficiency and maintenance cost. I mean, if you look at harsh braking alone and acceleration, it's a lot of wear and tear and it drives a lot of
Oh,
costs
yeah.
for the company. So being able to help them identify that low hanging fruit, get some really quick turnaround in their bottom line by addressing those things and just slowly working through the different things that they need to work on.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice too because I mean, there's different folks and they're going to be in different roles that are going to need either different information or digest it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So even just be able to help people on an individual level say, hey, let's just take in this that concerns you rather than,
Everything.
everything. I
Yeah.
mean, gosh, I think like even sometimes maybe this is like a weird example, but like Instagram will do an update and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what these extra features are. I didn't need this.
I don't
So
need it.
if you think on that little scale, I can't imagine taking something like that and applying it to, running your company, and all of a sudden you have all these extra features that
Yeah,
can help you and they're made to help. But how the heck do you wrap your head around it?
exactly. I think it really comes down to how can we shrink their world and get what they need in front of them?
Yeah.
They don't need it all, not all at once.
Yeah. Now, when when folks are coming on and they're starting their geotab journey, where do you really see those aha moments where they're like really grasping it and they're sure to apply and come back and be like, oh my gosh, like this is making a huge difference for me.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of my job is seeing those initial aha moments. And where I really see it is the light goes on when they start to see the impact of the driver behavior on their bottom line.
Hmm.
So, like, I worked with multiple fleets, but I even had one recently where they came to us because their maintenance costs were just out of control. And we were able to use the data from their pilot to identify this group of drivers that had some safety issues like harsh
Hmm.
braking and acceleration that were really driving that cost. And because they were able to identify those drivers so quickly, they were able to get in front of them, have those coaching conversations. There were a
Hmm.
couple that needed some safety training, but I think
Yeah.
with drivers that have been in the industry for so long, they may not need safety training. Sometimes they need that little reminder to be like, oh, don't forget, this is something you need to stay focused on.
Yeah.
Literally, Taylor, within 6 weeks, their maintenance cost dropped 20%.
Oh,
It
that's
was
massive.
massive quick. So that's that low hanging fruit that when we can come in and identify the quick stuff, it's a huge turnaround.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Now, and I'm sure you're seeing obviously kind of the folks makes that transition. Are you really getting to also see what it looks like when folks don't have the right technology in place?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people do still operate on that dots on a map model. And some
Hmm.
of it is they don't necessarily know the capabilities. And when they don't have that technology in place, it creates a little bit of a gap in visibility.
Hmm.
And when they have that, it can lead to higher costs, things like unplanned maintenance. If they don't have a solid maintenance schedule system, then those costs can be huge, or unforeseen safety risks that are causing like higher insurance premiums. When we can help them close that gap, it definitely helps drive that bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we actually see that even a lot at Whip Around. I mean, we have folks that are at least advanced enough to where hey, we've had, some type of GPS. But the amount of folks that are still having a lot of their back office on paper and spreadsheets and whiteboards and, or, maybe we've had some folks that are using, like an accounting software and then they're making inspection sheets, but then they're wondering why it's not kind of getting to the right person. So if it's not really designed for it, I think in the past in the industry, as technology was evolving, so many different companies were trying to use software that wasn't really built for certain
Yeah,
things to try to actually get stuff done. So I think it's really great now to see so many companies like Geotab, like, really stepping up and closing those gaps for people and having it all in one place.
agreed. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, so obviously Whip Around and Geotab, are integrated partners. You guys have actually, gosh, I think probably been one of our longest running partners. I remember
Yeah.
talking to you about you and I started a Whip Around 6 years ago now, which is crazy to say. But
Yeah.
and you guys have some other, so a great marketplace. Where are you seeing the huge advantages in those kind of combined ecosystems rather than seeing folks try to have all these siloed systems?
Yeah, I love this question. And honestly, I love our partnership and integration. And I think it's a great example to answer your question. But I think I see a few fleets still that still want to try and be on one system to rule them all,
Mhm.
one solution that does everything.
It's a
And I
great way
think
to say that.
for some fleets it works. I think we're kind of transitioning into an era where fleets want to be able to select partners that are the best at what they do,
Mhm,
whether that's safety training or that's maintenance or it's ELD, whatever it is. They want to be able to have all of these systems that do the best for that individual fleet. But we don't want them to have to sign into a bazillion different
mhm,
systems to get all of this data. And that's why I say that I think our integration is such a great example of how you can have that kind of solution without it being siloed. A
mhm,
great example is with your guys' app. You have a driver that reports this issue. It's them going through the Geotab machine and getting all the engine data. And then the office is notified and then the mechanic's notified and they're ordering parts. And like oftentimes in the end, by the time that truck shows back up in the yard, the tech's already ready to roll with whatever that driver said the issue is, which of course is then a happy driver, which is one of the most important
Yes.
things.
Keep them
And
happy for
and
sure.
keeps the truck on the road and the wheels turning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you can do to reduce that downtime, and that quick
Yeah,
communication is the biggest key to that.
yeah,
And I love the fact that I mean, once you put them together, you're just logging into one system. I think that's the
exactly.
biggest thing when we first bring up the, well, they're going to have too many systems. I'm like, no, they live inside of each other. It's just right there. It's so clean, and I feel like that makes such a big difference when you're talking about bringing technology together to it's one thing if they
Yeah,
talk to each other, it's another thing if they actually live inside of each other. I
yeah.
mean, that's the whole thing we're trying to accomplish, right? Is make everyone's lives a little bit easier and a little more efficient.
Yeah, I think it definitely overcomes the siloed approach that we've run into
Mhm.
before, where when we work with customers together, they're getting just the one system and they're getting support from both of our teams. So if there's ever an issue, they're not just having support from Look Around, they're not just having support from Geotab, they're getting it all with everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I wanted to ask you too, and I think, I don't know if I actually didn't really watch the Super Bowl. I'm honestly, and I'm like, I hope both teams have fun kind of gal. Someone did ask me earlier, like a week before, like, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not sure who's playing. When is it? They're like, it's this Saturday, Taylor, or Sunday.
Yep.
So obviously, I'm not the big sports person, but I kept hearing everyone talk about how it's all AI commercials, which is crazy because everyone's like, they're talking about the scary aspect of it. These are all like kind of the feedback I'm hearing. And I feel like in
Yeah.
our world, we're seeing so much AI come in.
Yeah.
And I think our industry is really excited about it. We kind of get to see the more positive sides of everything, and I think not only from the asset tracking, but even from a safety priority.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what you're kind of most excited about in the AI
Oh,
world.
yeah, and, we're making a lot of announcements tomorrow, so I can't say a lot when
I
it
will not.
comes
I
to
won't have you
AI.
divulge
It is
anything.
it is totally one of the things I'm mostly excited about this week, but I think when you think about what's moving the needle in the AI world as we're moving into more of an agentified AI
Hmm.
era, there's a lot of big stuff that we're gonna be talking about the next couple of days that it really is in all
Exciting.
aspects of, our actual hardware to the
Mhm.
software, all to really streamline the processes, help people move more efficiently, and ultimately keep the drivers as safe as possible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy what just the direction we're moving in so quickly.
Mhm.
And I love that it seems like everything's so I mean, efficiency is great, making more money is great, being more efficient is great. But I love how everyone's also so focused on the safety side of things.
Yeah,
Hey, let's make sure. Yeah, money is great, and it's great to get things done quickly. But how are we getting everybody home safe at the end of the day?
exactly. Every person is somebody's mom, somebody's
Hmm.
sister, somebody's grandpa. One driver is too many to have an incident.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, other than all the AI stuff going on, what else are you most excited for this week?
I think the number one thing I'm most excited about this week is this Connect. We have over 4,000 attendees,
Oh, wow.
and that is leaders in the fleet space. It's marketplace partners, resellers, geotappers all coming together and being able to facilitate a lot of networking opportunities. I had a great
Mhm.
dinner last night with a few customers that I've worked with, and just being able to connect those people together and see a
Mhm.
community being built of support. This is something that's really huge with the MPTC
Yeah.
is being able to build a community that you can fall back on when you need support. If you need a recommendation for technology or you need somebody to
Mhm.
bounce an idea off of, being able to make those connections between people is fantastic, and between 4,000 people is just it's
Yeah.
amazing to see, and I love to be here and be
Now, how many, Geotab Connects have you been to?
this is my 3rd.
Okay,
My
very nice.
first one, I had actually only been with Geotab for 3 weeks, so I hardly remember it,
You're just
but
getting
it was
thrown
fun.
in.
Yeah,
Talk about drinking from a fire hose. That's a
exactly,
lot.
exactly, right in the deep end, but it was
Yeah.
fantastic. It's a great event. Well,
Yeah, this is my second Geotab Connect. I was
okay.
very excited to come back. I had I kind of like you mentioned. I remember at the last show just making so many connections, and when you can actually bring customers together. I think it's one thing for us behind the scenes to be able to kind of talk about values and benefits and here's how you can operate a little bit better. But when you actually get folks in slightly different companies, but
Mhm.
enough similarities to where they can actually give each other advice, I think that's, I
Yes.
mean, what more can you ask for, you know?
Exactly, and I think Geotab does this is gonna be a plug for our signature team, but they put on a client advisory group that is completely protected to just fleets and just, like, our signature team. So, no sales, no partners,
Oh, I love
nobody
that.
else, and they're able to really sit and dive into issues that they're seeing in the industry. It really helps us drive, like, what does the future look like for us in
Hmm.
terms of product and solutioning, and it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like it probably feels very like authentic, you know, like you're not worried about saying the wrong thing and you're just kind of having open conversation and open dialogue. I think we're talking about communication. That's another,
Yeah,
huge thing that I think we haven't really seen as much in the industry before as we're seing now. So
yeah,
it's all
yeah.
coming together well.
I agree. It's great.
Well, my last question for you, and hopefully all the folks that get to check out and want to come back, definitely come to a Geotab Connect. But for this one in
Mhm.
particular, is there anything that you're really hoping that folks, either leave thinking differently about, or just something that they walk away with that they can tell other folks, hey, I learned this at Geotab Connect.
Yeah, there's a couple answers for that that I have that I think are near and dear. One of them is technology. How are you using technology? How can you make it work for you? Even in just in terms of hardware, not having it as a check the box activity. I hope with all of the different breakout sessions and whatnot that they're really seeing the value in the technology and what that looks like going forward. Secondly, I think one thing that we really push our customers to think about is where they're at in their telematics journey.
Hmm.
So a lot of people are in that dots on the map. They were not as many anymore, where they're maybe at a level two. What is it going to take, and what does it mean to their company to get to that next level three, where maybe they're a little bit more driver and asset focused?
Hmm.
So to really start thinking strategically about where are we at now, and what is it going to take to that next level? Sure.
Ah, well, great things to come. And folks, definitely do not miss Geotab 27. I can't tell you, it's such a put together show. Always
Mhm.
glad to come out here and be a part of it. So, thank you, Geotab, for, allowing Whipper to come out. And thank you so much, Desiree, for your time.
Absolutely.
It's
Thank you.
was very excited to sit down and pick your brain today.
Me too.
Thank you. We'll catch you guys next month.